Ah, well, that was stressful, but we did it. You know what? Not upset. Just further proof. It's time to upgrade, baby. Wasted a significant amount of time just setting this up. But we're only going to be live on YouTube and Twitch then. So let's make the most of it. We got the music. We got the cues. We're already up. So let's have some fun. If you can, a like and a share would be cool. So let's look at we're coding to be exact. So we're learning about loops and iterations. Few courses on this. We got Batman running. Let's test out the that's horribly misspelled, so we can fix that. Let's get the good professor stretched out. Clapping for everybody else though. Dynamite! 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 A few bombs in there. What's up, Danny? What's good? Clap it up. We got Danny in the house here. Drop a bomb. Drop one more. That was my boy Danny. We got about to start the iterations and loops. There's 4 courses on this. It dawned on me yesterday the reason why iterations and loops are important, because I couldn't figure out why we just wouldn't use an else if statement. And I feel like loops and iterations were designed off of else if. Everything is built off of else if, and I guess that's why it's the baseline, right? But the thing that is super cool that it dawned on me while watching the video was that the else if statement, the loop was created, and that's how countdowns work. And when I say mind blown, mine was blown. It was a really cool thing to just comprehend in real time, light bulb situation. So can we move this? Do I have power to move this? Yes, we do. So we can move this here. Let's get big like in Mario 2. And then we'll start the course. All right, cool. All right, let's do some education. You hear me?
So definite loops use the for keyword. And the idea of a definite loop is it's going to loop through some set of things. It might be a set of lines in a file. It might be a set of characters in a string. It might be a set of strings in a list of strings. But whatever it is, it's sort of going to run a finite number of times depending on the thing that it's looping through. And we like this. And it's an easier way to construct it, and we actually don't have to deal with the iteration variable. The for loop includes a mechanism to construct the iteration variable for us. So it's definite loops iterate through the members of a set. So here's a very simple for loop. And so you see the for keyword, and in is also a keyword. And the iteration variable is something we put right here. This I is declared. This I is like an assignment statement. And I is going to take on successive values. So I is going to be 5 the first time through the loop. Then I is going to be 4 the second time through the loop. Third, 2, 1. So I is going to be assigned 5 different times to 5 different values. And then the loop is going to run. It's going to run once with 5, once with 4, once with 3, once with 2, and once with 1. And so this block of code, we have contracted, say, execute it 5 times, with these values of I. I is that iteration variable. I is the thing changing through each iteration of the loop, okay? And so that's why this prints out 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then when it's done, it finishes it. And so this is a much more direct syntax for looping 5 times and setting an iteration variable. You kind of all combine it into this one thing, right? All into one thing. So it's quite nice. So you don't have to be going through a list of numbers. There's all kinds of things that we can iterate through with for. And by the way, while I'm sitting here, I named my variable friends, because that's a list of strings, and friend, which is the iteration variable. I'm using singular and plural because it helps you read it. Python doesn't understand singular and plural. So just because you say friends doesn't mean Python knows it's a list. Python does know it's a list, but it doesn't know by the name of the variable I've chosen. That's your basic mnemonic variable warning. These are cool variable names, but I don't want you to be confused by them. So you can loop through a variable. So we're going to take this list of 3 strings and stick it in friends. And so friend is going to iterate through that. So the first time through, friend is going to be Joseph. Second time through, it's going to be Glenn. Third time through, it's going to be Sally. And so that just says run this loop, run this code, the indented code, 3 times. Each time the variable friend takes on a successive version of a successive value that's in the friends array. So it says happy birthday Joseph, Glenn, Sally, and then we come out of the loop and we print done. So if we try to draw a picture of what this is really doing, the for loop is actually doing a whole bunch of stuff that we would have to do with maybe separate statements in the while loop. First, it decides how many times to run the loop. So it's answering the done question, which way do we go? And it is also then moving I ahead. It's managing the iteration variable. If you go back to it's initializing it too. If you go back to the while loop, we had n equals 0, while n greater than 0, n equals n minus 1. So we had like 3 lines to control the loop to manage the iteration variable. But with a for loop, we don't have to do that. And so that's all taken care of. And so that basically says, you know, the for loop, by you using a for loop, are we done? No, we have 5 things to work. Well, set out of the first one, run it. We're not done because we got one more. Set it to the second one, third one, fourth one, fifth one, and now we're done. And that is all handled in a single line of code that includes the iteration variable and the set of things through which we are going to iterate through. I really like the word in. It is mathematically, it reminds me of the set theory where you say this is a member of this set, or the for each. Math isn't important here, but if you do know math, the vertical bar means such that, right, is a member of this set, and that kind of stuff, member of this set. I'll erase the math stuff so we don't over math. But it's like, for each of the values in the set 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, run this loop setting the iteration variable I to the members of that set. So in reminds me, for those of us who are math oriented, in reminds me of a really nice concept in mathematics. Okay? Now, you could think of this as sort of this looping structure where the for loop, and this is pretty much how it actually runs inside the computer, right? Where it initializes at I, it runs this thing 5 times, and then executes. That's one way to think about it. But you could also think about it in a somewhat more abstract way, and think of it as all we're really doing is we have a contract with Python that says we're supposed to run this code 5 times, and I is supposed to be 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So you could imagine this might be what's going on. The for loop sets I to 5, runs our code. The for loop sets I to 4, runs our code. The for loop sets I to 3, runs our code. The for loop sets I to 2, runs our code. For loop sets I to 1, and runs our code. All we know is our code was ran 5 times, and by contract, each successive time, we get a different value for I, and the value for I is taken from this set. And so this is just one way to think about it, to say to yourself, oh yeah, this is one way to think about it as it's actually, and this is how it really works. But this is also kind of logically the contract that Python is making for us. So up next, we're going to talk about taking this notion of doing something to a lot of items, but accomplishing something with that. And I call these loop idioms.
All right. Okay. The Good Doctor with a great lesson. And it's kind of explaining that phenomenon I had in the beginning. So for I, how many lines will the following code print? For I in 2.1.15, print I. How many lines will the following code print? The immediate answer for me is 3, because there is 3, but I feel like that's too easy. Maybe I am just too smart. And it makes sense. I mean, I isn't defined, so I will have to print every last one of them. All right, so we can move to the next one. Danny, what you doing? You working? We need to low key. We need to check on we need to check on our boy Southerner. I ain't seen him in a minute.
So now we're going to talk about loop idioms. And loop idioms are patterns that have to do with how we construct loops. We have the mechanics of fors and whiles, but ultimately we want to get something done. We want to solve a problem with a loop.
Oh dear God!
And often what we have to do is, if we have a set of things, whether it's lines or strings or characters or numbers, we're looking for something like the largest or the smallest, or we want to add them up or something like that. And so we can't just say add them up. We have to say go through each one and do something to each one and somehow achieve adding them up. And the pattern that we're going to follow is we're going to have this loop that's going to do run once for each thing, right, in some chunk of data. And then, but we're going to set something at the beginning, and then we're going to do something to each one. And at the end, we're going to kind of get the payoff. We're going to get the result. So if we're doing sort of summing things, we're going to have a running total. And so this will be like t equals 0. and then this will be t equals t plus the thing value. And then, but this is not the real total, it's the running total during the loop, but at the end it is the real total. And so we're gonna look at what you do at the before the loop starts, during the loop, and then what you get after the loop and how you can use that. So we're going to use this loop. It's just going to loop through a set of 6 numbers over and over and over again, right? So we're going to do something before the loop, we're going to do something after the loop, and then we're going to run the loop some number of times. And in this case, thing is our iteration variable because I'm using unmnemonic variables now. So this is going to run 9, 41, 12, 3, 74, and 15. So it's going to run and print these things out. So it runs this loop 6 times, and away we go. Now this loop does nothing except print stuff out. Of course, I like to do that first, is always print things out to make sure that sort of my brain is functioning. So to kind of understand how these loops work, I'm going to ask you to function as a program. And I'm going to show you some numbers in succession, and I want you to mentally figure out what the largest number is, but more importantly, think about how your brain is solving this problem of what is the largest number, given that I'm only going to show them to you one at a time for a little while, and your brain has to do something. And imagine I was going to show you thousands of numbers. I'm not, but imagine I was. How would you organize yourself in a way so that for like an hour and a half, you could sit here as I showed you numbers and you keep track of the largest number that you've seen of all the numbers? Okay, so here we go. Here's your first number. Second number. Third number. Fourth number. Fifth number. Sixth and last number. What was the largest number?
74.
Mm-hmm. What was it? Well, it wasn't too hard. It was 74. But that's not the question. How did your brain arrive at 74? So here's all the numbers. If I'd shown you all the numbers and asked you what's the largest number, your eyes would have sort of gone, and then you got to 74. And you wouldn't do it in any particular order. Your eyes would just like see the 74 and it would just throw smaller numbers away, and it would move really quickly to what the answer is. Even if there was several hundred numbers on the screen, your mind would sort of move fluidly wherever it felt like moving and then arrive at it. And probably what it would do is it would do something like, kind of move like this, find this, and then sort of check to make sure that it's okay, and then say like, okay, I got 74, I'm done. That's not how computers do it. That is not how computers do it. They do not move fluidly. But they are highly dedicated. They're going to do something.
The sound effects.
74. But how would you construct a loop to achieve this? So let's take a look. You could create a variable called largest so far. And this is the largest variable, the value that you've seen in the list so far. Now, I haven't shown you any numbers yet, so we'll just set this to -1 to get us started. So now we see 3. And we're like, oh, that's better than -1. It's our first number, so it's probably the largest we've seen so far, right? Great. 41. Oh, that's bigger than the largest we've seen so far, so we'll keep it. 12 is not bigger than 41, so we're not going to keep it.
Oh,
Notice
shit.
this keeping thing.
That's how I did it.
9 is not bigger than 41, so there's no point to keeping it. 74 is bigger than 41, so we'll keep it. Is it?
When he did this, all I did was remember the next biggest number. So I didn't care about the other numbers. Oh my God. Do I think like a computer?
Is the largest number? We don't know. We don't know until we're done. 15, not better than 74. So now we're all done, and hooray, 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 we have the largest number. And we had this variable that we kept the largest number that we'd seen up to this point. And then when we know that we're done at the end, then that becomes the largest. So if you look at all the numbers, keeping track of the largest so far, at the end of all the numbers, the largest so far and the largest are the same thing. And so that's how you get this idea of something you're doing during the loop is not really the answer, but by the time the loop is done, you will have the answer. And so here's a bit of code that does this. Use it with our numbers, right? So let's take a look. So I have this variable called largest so far. I set it to -1. Before the loop, Remember, there's a loop before and a loop after and a loop in the middle. Before it's -1. So now the num, remember underscores are okay, that's my iteration variable. If 9 is greater than largest so far, well, largest so far is -1, so that's true, so this code's going to run. So we're going to remember the new number. So this is 9, and so 9 ends up in largest so far, and then we print it out. So largest so far is 9 after we saw the number 9. Then we do it again. So now 41 comes in. And is 41 greater than 9? The answer is yes, it is. So we're going to run this code, copy 41 into largest so far, and then print it out, and largest so far is 41 after we saw the number 41. Now we're going to run the loop again with 12, okay, and you get the idea, I hope. Is 12 greater than 41, which is the largest we've seen so far? And the answer is no, it is not, so we skip. So the largest so far stays 41 even though we saw 12, meaning we're sort of like ratcheting up, but we never ratchet back down. So we run it again with 3 and 41, and we skip this, and then the largest so far is 41 even though we just saw 3. And now we see 74. Is 74 greater than 41? See, we never are looking at all the numbers. We're only looking at the window on the numbers of the current number that we're looking at. So is 74 greater than 41? The answer is yes. So we run this code, and then we capture the 74. So we just saw 74, and it is the largest so far. And then we run it again with 15, but 74 is our largest so far, and so it's skipped.
Will this code work? Because if you're telling me this code is going to work, I want to try it. All this talking about it. It doesn't look like working code.
So 74 remains largest so far after 15, and now we're finished because we just ran the last thing. The for takes care of everything and jumps to this print statement and says afterwards largest so far is 74. But at this point, it's also the largest code. Right? So largest so far became largest when our loop finished. So that sort of gives you this notion of how we construct, you know, something at the beginning, some kind of thing that we're going to do over and over and over again, and then something at the end. And we put some print statements in just so we can watch it and see what's going on. So coming up next, we're going to talk about some more loop patterns, some counting, totaling, averaging, and finding the smallest number.
Strong work, Professor. What's the question? Below is code to find the smallest value from the list of values. One line has an error that will cause the code to not work as expected. Which line is it? It's line 1. But it's not an option. So continue. So let's look at them all together. Line 3. To iterary. 341, 12, 9. Line 4, if smallest is none, or I don't know what 6 does. Now I want to see his code again. Hold on.
Is 41 even though we saw 12.
I think it's break. I don't know what break serves. Does break serve a purpose here? Let's take a guess. I don't think break serves a purpose. Yeah. It just didn't make sense to me. But this code should work. Minus break, right? Let's give this one a cheeky little try, shall we? All right. Unless, okay. So where are we? I'm at test PY. So I'm in the right folder. So let's make a new one. Wait, not in the window. That's a new file, my guy.
I have with me David Packman. He is
And
a
like, right?
progressive host and executive producer of the nationally syndicated radio and TV program, The David Packman Show. And I wanted to talk to David Packman. He is a
All right, so we'll call this
David Packman. He is a
we'll call this
David Packman. He is a
small list,
David Packman.
small number. Oh shit.
Can you remind
Control
the
list.
audience when you talk about being a beta male and
Small.
being an alpha male, what are we talking about here?
Number.
There are
No
males,
space.
most men today.
Yeah.
Dot py.
They think and act like a
All right,
woman.
and
They're
just to make sure it works, let's go
mentally
print.
they have no logic. And that's a beta male. They go along with homosexuality.
Hold on, but whoa, Jesse, we got to
Hello
LGBTQ.
world.
They agree with everything that's raw. Abortion, they think and act just like a woman. A beta male does. But a non-beta male
And give me this small number.
controlled by the darkness of David Packman. He is a
That shit.
David Packman. He is a beta male. David Packman. He is a
Python
David Packman.
3.
He is a beta male. David Packman. He is a beta male. David Packman.
Dot py. And then let's save this.
He is a beta male.
And then let's run that.
He is a beta male. David, you're not here to communicate. I really appreciate you coming on. I'm going to let you go. It's a waste of time to talk to you. We're not communicating. You're acting like an
No,
idiot.
because you're asking bizarre questions
You're
and not
acting
answering
like an
any of them.
idiot and you're wasting my time. I appreciate
ad
you
hominem.
coming. All right,
It's
thank
an
you
ad
for coming.
hominem, so you know
Goodbye.
that.
Goodbye. Let him know. That's a progressive vote. All men who are progressive, or males who are progressive, are weak people. They are weak people, and why do you have these people on? It doesn't even make sense.
Alright. Why did that just happen? Oh, is it because it all falls under the test PY? What if I did this? No, something's that does not make sense. CD. Oops. CD. Python code. Ah, shit. see. All right, let's clear it. Let's go user desktop, and then we'll be able to go. So MNT. LS. Okay, did I even save it there? This thing is so little, it's annoying. It is here. Okay, so I know it's here, but I don't know how to get it to pop up. And I think it has something to do with this, because this is here. Delete permanently. Let's see what happens. Right now. Nope. I can't begin to figure out what's going on. Been pretty quiet. Like, how quiet are we talking? Like, stupid quiet? Because, hold on. This might be loud. Danny, why come I can't go back? And let me know if the mic is better. Thanks. So if you look up here, I have my small number. I just created this, but I can't go back into CD. But when I hit LS, it shows me that I'm on a desktop. So then CD, wait, what happened just now? All right, CD Python code, Python code. That's strange. Number one. Okay. PWD. I can see, like, I see that. So if I put in, okay, so PW, I'm home and I'm at Heero. Okay, so I need to go to my desktop. So CD desktop. So yeah, it won't even, it's not letting me change my directories. Oh shit. So I gotta go. Okay, so then I go MNT. Oh wait, do I have to change directories first? Change directories, MNT. No file. So you need to CD. Hit clear. Let me see. So first forward slash is very, the first forward slash is very important. So I need those forward slashes now to do it. So forward slash, wait. Oh, so CD forward slash MNT. Hey, we in there. So now we can go CD. I'm pretty sure I can write this all down in one swoop, right? CD user. Fuck, it wasn't capital. Will it still give it to me? No. CD capital user. And I spelled it wrong. I can't. Oh, I can backslash them all. All right, let me forward slash them all. Let's test it out. And I'm still messing this one up. Use the tab to use the autocomplete. Yeah. Okay. All right. PWD. You need to be okay. So every time I open, this isn't like the old one where, okay, that kind of makes a lot more sense. So then it's CD backslash or forward slash. Is that forward? Forward slash. I'm already in there. So C again, users again, Heero again, desktop again, Python code. Show me. Yeah, that wasn't something I did. That was not something I did, Danny. But we can just hit up real quick and we can add some space. Oh, hey to the 5 people watching. What's up? Oh yeah! Hope y'all didn't come here to see high quality stuff. I am a beginner. But I'm having a ball because I just want to test something. This is also news to me. You can see my cursor, right? Yeah, you can. So you saw me trying to fuck some shit up. You saw me literally. You literally saw me trying to fuck some shit up. Okay, and I'm still fucking some shit up. Users Heero desktop Python code. Oh my God. Okay, so then let's just do it the old-fashioned way. CDC. Okay, CD users. You said run ls /. What is that for? Bin boot. What is all of this? Oh, it always starts at the okay. 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 That makes a lot more sense. Backslash. Gotta write this in my margin. That's a peaceful piece of note. Backslash ls always starts at root. Okay. So the problem with your CD/C was there was no C directory in the root of the file. Ah, okay. Okay. Where we at? CD. What am I doing? Oh, Heero. CD desktop. I'm getting closer. This is talk about practice. Doing this just 4 times. Good God. All right, almost there. CD Python code. CD small number.py. We in there. Swimwear. Shout out to 6 people watching. Thanks, guys. Don't be shy. Say hi. We don't gotta be strange forever. It's not a direct you motherfucker. Did I spell it wrong? I did all that shit in it. Oh no, it's Python. Sorry. That's not a directory. Python 3 small number.py. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not gonna make the same mistake twice. There it is. Hello world. And my code pops up. So I now have proof that I'm in the right spot. I now have proof that the small test worked. So now let's actually have some fun with what we were doing. And I was hoping that I would have gotten a chance to try a loop by now, but they haven't given me a chance to start a loop. So I'm gonna steal this one that I saw on screen just to see how it works. I can't believe I had to go through all this. All right, so the code on its face is very simple, but it uses a lot more words. So we'll try and make it almost identical. So we'll go, I'll make sure you guys can see this. All right, cool. Shout out to the DJ though. Small. Where am I typing? Okay. Smallest equals none. We'll We're gonna print before smallest. Oh wait. I made that capital. Smallest. Okay. For. I love how it just pulled that code from. How did it know that? Is it because the base examples still here? Yeah, interesting. So it's using code from the past. Is it either var? I don't know. He's using really weird words. But in is Hydro's Rage. Oh my goodness. Clap it up for Hydro's Rage. You're alive? Hydro's Rage? Hydro's long time no see, my guy. What's going on? Do you see the shock in my voice? I had to clap it up for you. Need to alert somebody when you come in here, my guy. How you been? When I talk about people I haven't seen in a minute, I was about to report your account. Someone stole your account. Over here posing as you. Can't let them do that. You know I'm a real friend. I'm a real friend. I ain't gonna let nobody hold you down. So as you can probably tell, Hydro, you weren't even here when I made this conversion over. I've been great, man. As you can see, I'm trying to learn how to code. I got my boy Danny in the chat, you know, hooking your boy up. But I've been blessed. And even if I wasn't, you're not a therapist, so I'm not about to sit here and bore you and not even give you the opportunity to charge me. I'm still trying to get this channel affiliated. Back when I was playing the guitar, I think you caught me while I was drawing. But I still play guitar, still draw on here, still play games, but I only play games with my friends. People really do be coming here thinking I'm like some type of gamer. I'm like, I'm not good. The only game I think I'm good at is Smash Brothers, and it's not even like the new ones, the N64 one. My boy Pikachu used to hold me down. ISHA 1998 Nintendo 64 champion. That's me right here. I'm that guy. Look me up. So hometown hero, now known as hometown champion. That was literally the headline. 74, and we're gonna change up their numbers to after we actually get it to work. Okay, so we're good here. Am I still low on the mic, Danny? I know you were trying to prevent me from literally messing up this code. If smallest, sheesh, really? If smallest is none, thank you, or itiver smallest. Okay, this is a little bit confusing here. Smallest equals itiver. I know that will break the code. So we'll skip here. Let's go 7. Print. But yeah, just I'm happy you stopped by. Came to kick it with your boy. I appreciate it. This is a new adventure for me. I made up my mind. I want to work in tech, and I don't know what I want to do yet, but I got some great ideas and a little bit of heart. It'll take you a long way. Okay, print. That's a unique setup. Smallest. And then I don't want to be like, I feel like I have the technical know-how. I spelled smallest twice. Why is it showing up twice? It's the same thing though. All right, let's give it a try. Control S. Let's see what happens. All right, let's test it out. .py. Tell me something good. The connection to my terminal is unresponsive. The terminal may stop working. G. Thanks. I type all this nonsense in and it gives me a no, sir. Okay, trace back. Most recent call last. File small number.py line 1 in module smallest equals none. Name none is not defined. Ooh. So none should be defined. Okay, so none has a like a definition. That's interesting. Didn't know that. All right, we got you. Hey, I can respect it. Two things. Oh shit, I didn't hit Control S. Oh. It's gonna give me the same error, but we know what we're looking for now. Joke's on you. Let's give it one more wing, and then we'll keep pushing it. This unrelentless behavior is oh man. So I was supposed to go on a date today. I had a lunch date today, and it got canceled. And I just gotta tell you how my mom just treated my life when I told her it got canceled. Yo, when a mom is giving up on her son having like going on a date, You know something's wrong with the world. The world is a cold place when your mama out here treating you. But yeah. So I was supposed to be on this date. I really like the girl. Oh shit, another traceback error. Line 7. Line 7 is a print statement. What the fuck could be wrong with that? Itiver is not defined. Oh shit. Oh wait. Is it just because of the placement of it? Oh yeah, yep. And this is so great because it'll teach you exactly, and then you know this will become an issue. So now it's back in the code. That's crazy. I love it. I love being able to see my mistakes like that. Oh shit, Danny's saying the placement was fine. It was a typo. Oh shit. Oh damn it. Okay. Does undo work on this screen? It does. Okay. Itiver. It's a typo. ITE. Am I tweaking? Like, okay, which one is spelled wrong then? IT. Oh, I'm missing an N. Oh no, I added an N. Yeah. Okay. Once more. Ooh. Wait a minute. Oh, it's because I told it. It looped 3 times? This is more than 3 though. Okay, so some of this, I like it. I like that it works, but it doesn't look pretty. So now let's make it pretty. Let's make it look pretty. So loop, itiver, smallest. Oh, and then it compared itself to each one. So like if I wanted to, could I make it? How would I make it so that it can? I want to see what it compared to itself. Smallest, like a versus, like a differential, like a versus, because I want to see the number it was compared to in the group. But I guess that's a more expansive code. I didn't write this with the sense of being expansive, but the 2 numbers here gives me the number, which would have been 3, and then smallest. I just feel like when it says loop here, it should tell me how many times it looped itself, and it should have been a total of 3, 6, so 6 times. But it works. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. I assumed that it meant something else, but it's just a variable input for me. That's all it is. It's a variable input. Whoops. All right, so that's cool. Okay, all right. I'm asking for a lot. I get it. I'm just asking for a lot. I'm being very picky. All right, cool. Let's I just want to see that work because he put up 2 examples now and he hasn't shown like how to do one. And in my mind, I'm like, that's how I learn. I just gotta write it. But like, so if I had to go back and do this, I think I would change itiver to be like compare. It's very important to pick your variables that have meaning to you, because when you're typing stuff that doesn't have meaning to you, then all of a sudden you're running into this situation where it's like, like when someone tries to explain it to you now, you don't know what to do. So I think like for the future, for me, that's something I'll be focused in on. But yeah, let's push. We got to type some code, so that's a good part of it. I'll finish telling you the story about what happened on the date, because the girl's actually texting me right now. Texting me belligerently. Oh, what's up? Hey, thanks for joining. I'm not gonna even butcher your name. And you want to know what I have found out? I've been coding now. Me and Danny linked up probably 3 weeks ago, but I've been coding a week before that. How difficult is it as a person? And I think I should give context, right? Loriando. Forgive me for butchering your name. I'll give you a little bit of context. I believe coding is just as difficult as anything you've ever done, period. There are some barriers of entry. You need a computer. So if you don't have a computer, it's a no-go. But I am a person who was so curious and didn't have the programs at first. I started writing my code at first. I used to write it down on paper and then test it out. You don't need a fancy program like I have. You could put this all in command prompt or notepad and then transfer it over. But as far as like a skill set, I'm not traditionally trained. I have 2 bachelor's degree, a master's degree, and a host of ASIN certifications. My job by trade is I'm a surgical specialist, so I remove human organs in transplants and save people's lives that way. But obviously, with my lights set up, streaming, I have a little bit of technical savvy. My computer's running at 100% capacity with 96% memory gone and a 16 gigabyte RAM. So I want to upgrade my system. I want to become better at that aspect of it, sure, right? But I think a lot of things that scare people from coding is not having someone to talk to, not having a point of reference. I was very lucky. Danny was able to talk to me, and he found my enthusiasm into it to be worth like putting effort in. But like before Danny came around, I was just following message. I think you just got to be okay with opening the door and find a community, find people who know more than you. Like that's it. And then I think the next step is like outlining why coding is important to you. Like what do you plan to gain? What do you plan to do? That part is where I'm at right now. Like that's why I'm kind of going through the very fundamental task and doing the online learning. Hell, you can join me on my journey. I'm only 4 lessons in, but I think you just put an effort to it. Minus the barriers of entries, I think coding and learning how to code is like anything else. It requires effort. It requires you to be disciplined. It requires you to be focused. And my goal was simple. In 2021, throughout the whole pandemic, I've worked in the hospital, and I told myself that this is the year that I'm going to my goal. I had 10 goals on my list. My goal list is complete and utter gutter trash, but I think I can do it. my goal was to get a job in tech and use my technological skills to sustain me. I don't want to be in the generation that didn't understand how to talk to computers or not be able to use this finite skill set. So I just took that and ran with it. I know how to edit and video edit and sound design, and also, I mean, if I'm gonna be forced to do something in order to survive, I want to do something that's appealing to me. I think from someone in my industry, someone in my line, I've hit the ceiling of my industry. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a nurse. Like, I have a very finite skill. I can only take human lungs out of a body and put them back. That's it. I don't know how to treat lymphoma, which is a form of cancer. I don't know how to tracheotomy, which is a passive airway. Well, I can do that just through the simple syntax with the proper equipment. But like, I've hit the ceiling. I'm the best at what I can do. And there are other skills that I have out there that beg to differ, that I'm not at the limit of my own potential and skill set. And I feel like when I'm saving one person, I'm saving just one person. But if I could write an algorithm that helped point out lymphoma 60 days before a diagnosis, or could even project based on your genetic trait, because I can find pinpoints that I now use Python code to pull out of a data chart, I could save hundreds of thousands of people with a click of my wrist or a click of my finger. I think that is where I belong. I'm an innovator. I'm a rule follower when it matters, but I'd rather be out there thinking of the next big thing versus just rinse and repeat. Oh, I mean, I don't really know if there's a reason why anybody would want to change any aspect of their life, but I think you owe it to yourself to fucking be happy. Whatever you are doing, be happy doing it. Don't go in like a zombie. Go in every day, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed. When I go to work, I'm fucking excited. I'm excited to cut someone open. I'm excited to seal them back up. I'm excited to send them home and never fucking see them again. That's literally my catchphrase. You're going home, and I never want to see you again. It's one of my favorite things to say to my patients. You're going home, and I hope I never see you again. And they start crying because they've been sitting in what they thought was their deathbed until we cured them. And given with the situation with COVID, it's just been so much. Our system has been stressed so far. And there's so many ways we could easily fix our system, but I'm bounded by my own limitations. So I have to get better. I have to find, if they won't let me change hospitals, if they won't let me change policies and rules, then I'll create a system where I don't have to use a hospital anymore. I don't have to use situation. Hey, you want to know if you're susceptible to something? Just send me your work and I'll figure it out for you. You don't have to pay thousands of dollars. You don't have to have insurance. Because everyone's insurance is tied to their job. So in order for you to get healthcare, you have to be working. I want the bar of entry for sick people should be, how can I help you? And I guess with a name like Heero, you don't want to be out here hindering folks. So that's just my thought on it. I've got on my soapbox. I'm terribly sorry. This is the wrong channel for that. But wow, that's crazy. You are an accomplished person and you're still looking for more. Always looking for more. Always hungry. Always ready for more. The moment you stop trying to grow is the moment you start regressing. So we always move forward. Speaking of forward, where are we? And of course I have the most cinematic music going into that rant. Check it. Your boy has great timing, if anything. So we're gonna turn this a little bit down. One of my friends asked me the other day, how are you not getting copyright strike? It's because I synthesized that song. I stole it from a guy. Oh, shout out to 7 people watching with your boy while I was out here ranting. Yeah, Dynamite. Welcome to the show. This is the Stranger's Comic Book, where we code on a comic book page. We love to do it. We love to see it. But hopefully you follow. Come join me on this trip. I would love it if you join me on this trip. I have learned HTML. So this is actually the code camp. This is like the website I used to learn. So I was learning CSS and HTML5. I got like halfway through HTML5 and CSS, and what I was noticing is that I was doing a lot more visual edits and like visual design, UI designs, which are like cool, but like I wanted to like learn a language. I wanted to like learn a language, and a lot of people don't really consider it to be certain, like it to be a language or anything like that. And I just wanted to say like, okay, next step, what are we gonna do? Oh, thanks for the follow, I appreciate it. And come join up. But I do, and I can use this screen actually to show you. Let's go here real quick. So, cause like this is a great website, freecodecamp.org. This is the Python course, but I use this to start my HTML. So I did like, yeah, this was the first course that I picked up on HTML5, and I did all 28 of the courses already. And once I completed it, I was just like, so now I'm like applied accessibility. Like these are now going into like the principles of web design and CSS and things like that. And then you have like a big test. You got to make a tribute page, a survey form and stuff like that. But like as I was getting like, I was figuring out that I was like, okay, I'm learning all of this stuff, but I want to learn a real language. And it's not to say that like HTML, some people will call it not really a language, but I said before I like start diving into these web design things, I really want to learn the principle in Python. People are like, it's the most popular. This literally says it. And it definitely has, by learning Python, you will learn a lot of why we do things. Like when I was learning the HTML5, because it's the 5th iteration of it, I feel like there's nuance that I don't know. But this is Python 3. Python 2 and 1 and the original Python all have this makeup about it. It's like the best example I can find about it, and this is probably a very niche example, but if you remember playing Tony Hawk 1 and 2, Pro Skater 1 and 2, there were certain things you couldn't do. You couldn't do like an ollie. You couldn't do a stale out. You couldn't do those things. Like you couldn't do any of those things. But if you play like Tony Hawk Pro Skater 8, you can do a host of trick and be fucking Iron Man. But there's this great mode in Tony Hawk Pro Skater 8 that says old school. And it restricts you from using certain tricks and using certain command prompts. Like if you wanted to rotate, you would have to do an autocorrect. So it's like left bumper. So you could turn, so you could land correctly. Like they take that away from you. So you have to manually land yourself. And it was really cool to see that. And that's what I felt like with Python. Python, I get to play Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2, which is a fucking classic. Fight me. You feel me? Fight me. Yeah! But then as I get better and learn the reason why things are great, I get to upgrade it to Tony Hawk Pro Skater 8. So yeah. That's my rant on that. But we'll jump into the next lecture. And right now we're in iterations, and this is number 3 of part 4. So, and we have an exercise here, so we get to do some more coding after this.
So now we're going to look at some more patterns of the different things we can do at the top of the loop, in the middle of the loop, and at the bottom of the loop. And the first one we're going to do is counting. Now we're going to take a look at the number of something, the number of things in our list. Now we could just inspect it and see 6, but you will have for loops like you're reading through a file or scanning through some data. And so the notion of counting, you have to assume that you don't really know, that there's going to be a lot more than just 6. But for now we're just going to do 6, and we're going to count how many things that we see in this loop. And the pattern is simple. You set a variable. Zork to 0 at the beginning. We often call this variable count in mnemonic. And now we're going to run this loop 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And each time through, we're just going to add 1 to Zork. So Zork start at 0. Then it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we're going to print it out. So, we see the 9 and Zork is 1. See 41, Zork is 2. And Zork is 16. When we see the 15, 4 stops. And we print out afterwards. And this then is 6 is then the ultimate count that we got. So that's very, very simple. The pattern is that set it to 0 at the beginning, add 1 to it, and if you run that enough times, then this is how many times that happened. And in a sense, it's how many times this line ran, right? Sometimes you put this in an if statement, etc., etc., etc. Okay? Oops. Now, we can do the same thing to get a total. And the way the total works is you compute a running total of the number of the items that you've seen so far, and at the end, the running total, in effect, becomes the total. A better variable name for this would be like sum or total or something, but Zork, I'll use Zork again. So you set Zork to 0, and it starts out, the total we've seen so far is indeed 0. And then we're going to run this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times, and thing is going to be the iteration variable. It's going to take on the successive values, and each time through, we're just going to take our running total and add to it the thing we've seen. So we see 9, and the running total is 9. We see 41, and the running total becomes 50. We see 12, the running total becomes 62. We get a 3, it becomes 65. We get 74, running total is 139. How many more are we going to see? We don't know. Could be a million. Could be 1. Oh, it's only 1. We get a 15. Our running total is 154. And what's true at any moment here is the running total is right up of what we've seen so far. Now, when we're done, the for loop quits for us, and afterwards, 154 is indeed the total. So the running total while we're in the loop, at the end of the loop, after the end of the loop, we have the actual total. So it's not very difficult to convert this to the average because we've calculated the count and we've calculated the running total, and now we're going to have the average by simply dividing those. Okay, so now this time I've used mnemonic variables. Don't get confused by this. Mnemonic variables are just friendly names I chose for you to read the code easier. I am not communicating to Python in any way by naming this count and sum, but count and sum is nice. Okay, so I set count to 0 and sum to 0. Oh, go back up. I set count to 0 and sum to 0 at the beginning, and the count is 0 and the sum is 0. And then I'm going to run this loop 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And each time, value is the iteration variable. I count, every time I run the loop, I count equals count plus 1, sum equals sum plus value, so I have a running count and a running total, and they show up here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then the running total. And then at some point, the for loop, we do the last one, and the for loop jumps out, and it divides 6, 154 is the count and running total, and then it divides the average sum over count, okay? So that's just, again, a pattern of something in the beginning, something in the middle, something in the end. Another kind of thing we tend to do in loops is we look for things, we hunt for things. And so this is where we have an if statement inside of a loop. And of course, I've created a silly, simple thing. In this code, I am looking for large values that are greater than 20. And again, don't think of this as just 6 numbers, but I'm looking for all the values and I'm going to print them out. So, it says before, it's going to run this 9. Well, if 9 is greater than 20, it's false, so it goes back up. 41, true, so it prints out 41, then goes back up. 12, false, goes back up. 3, false, goes back up. 74, true, so it runs this, so out comes that little print statement. Goes back up, and then 15 is the last one, and that's false. It goes back up, and the 4 says, we're done, and then we do afterwards. And so this is just the notion of having an if statement inside of a for loop, where we're sort of picking or choosing or selecting or looking for something in a large set of things that we're looping through. We can also say, I want to know if a particular value is there. And so we're going to use a Boolean variable. And we've talked about integer variables like 1, 42, and then floating point variables like 98.6, and then string variables like hello world. that have quotes in them. This is a fourth type, a kind of variable. It's called a Boolean variable, and it only has two values. It has true and false. Matter of fact, these if statements, they return Boolean values. Value equal 3, that is returning a true or a false based on the value of value. There's a mnemonic confusion there, right? But I'm using it. So I'm going to make a variable called found, and that's a decent name for a variable, so don't get hung up on that. And I'm going to initially say found is going to indicate to me whether or not I found a 3 in my list. And I'm going to start before the loop starts, say false, because we haven't found anything yet. So found equals false. And so at the beginning of the loop, found is false. Before the loop starts, found is false. And now we're going to run this loop a bunch of times. 9, is that true? No, skip. 41, is that true? Skip. 12, skip. Right? So 9, 41, 12. And found has remained false because we haven't done anything to it. But now in comes a 3. And this becomes true. So it runs this code. So found becomes true. And then we print it, and you'll notice that when we see a 3, we get true.
Appreciate the lurk.
And then it runs again. We get 74,
Appreciate
it's still
the lurk.
false. 15, it's still false. Run, quit. And the residual afterwards is true. And in fact, if you didn't know any of this, and you don't print that out, all you know is that afterwards, we loop through all those things, and we know that there was a 3 in there. That's what we're doing. So we searched all of them. We checked for 3s. When we found a 3, and you can see basically that, the found remains false until it flips to true, but then there's nothing to set it back to false. There's nothing in this loop that's going to set it back to false. So once it sort of catches the 3, then it remains true for the rest of the loop, and then it just finds its way out. Now, if you want to think about it for a moment, ask yourself, how might we make this loop more efficient by putting a statement right in here? Think about a way to, once you found it and it's true, there is sort of no reason to keep on going. So what would you put there to perhaps make this loop to look for 3s, just to tell you whether or not there was at least one 3 in there, how to make that more efficient? Just think about that. Okay, so now let's look back at the largest value that we started out with, right? And so if you think about this, let's kind of give it a sort of a rough look here. Largest so far is our kind of like a running total, but it's our hypothesis is the best large number. And we have this if statement that says if the number we just see right now is greater than the largest so far, then capture it, right? Take whatever number we saw and capture it. So when we see 9, it's better, we capture it. We see a 41, it's better, we capture it. We don't capture this, we capture the 74, and we don't capture the 15, and that's how we do it. So you could think of this as better. When the number we're looking at is greater than our working hypothesis of the largest, we grab it because it's better. So this line right here is the grab line. Grab it, okay? So then the question is, how would you modify this code to teach it to find the smallest value in this list of numbers? Think of it as you have a starting number, you have a sort of what's better in this grabbing notion. How could you do that? Take a look. Okay, so let's take a look. So let's do a couple things. Like if you look at this if statement, that's better. Well, it's better now if the number is less than. So but then we should probably change this to be smallest so far, 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 smallest so far. Right?
Thanks for the follow.
Matter of fact, that's what this is. We've changed the word largest so far to smallest so far, and we've changed the greater than to a less than. Is that going to fix it? I'll give you a second to look at it. Pause if you need. Is that going to fix it? Is that going to find our smallest number?
No.
The answer is, of course, no. It's not. So if we run this code, so we set the smallest so far to -1, and it starts out -1. We run it, and it's 9. Is 9 less than -1? No, it's not. So after we see a 9, the smallest so far is -1. Now we're going to run 41. Is 41 less than negative 1? No, it is not. So the smallest so far is still negative 1. As a matter of fact, it isn't the smallest so far anymore. Just because we named it smallest so far doesn't mean it is the smallest so far. It didn't work out so well. And so you see that none of these, because they're never less than negative 1, do anything. And we claim that afterwards the smallest we've seen so far is negative 1. And that is because, of course, negative 1 is smaller than any of the numbers that we saw. So how could we fix this? Well, if we started the smallest so far with some like arbitrary big number, then it'd be better. So if we made this 100, whoops, come back. If we made this be like 100, that'd be good, because the first time through, the 9 would be less than 100, so we would capture the 9, and then the rest of the loop would work just fine. But then what if we didn't know that how big these numbers were? As a matter of fact, the largest so far wouldn't have worked if all the numbers were negative. Think about that. We just assumed they were positive, and so we kind of wrote lazy code that assumed all numbers were positive. That might not be a good assumption depending on the numbers that you're dealing with, right? So maybe 100 is a good number to start with, or maybe like 1,000 or 10,000, or like some number with lots of zeros in it. How big should we make this? And the answer is we're kind of solving this problem the wrong way. And the thing we really want to do to solve the problem is to just accept the fact that if we're looking for the smallest number so far, that the right hypothesis is the first number. And if we just knew what that first number was, the 9, that would because it's the first number, we know that it's both the largest so far and the smallest so far as soon as you see the first number. But we don't know here before the loop starts what that first number is. I mean, you can look at it, but assume this is just data that's coming from somewhere else, and we don't know it until we start reading it. So we have to construct a loop that deals with the fact that we want to capture the first value as our hypothesis for smallest so far. So how do we do that? Let's take a look. So what we do is we use yet another type. So we have integer, floating point, string, Boolean, and now we have a thing called the none type. None type is a special marker in that it only has one value. Boolean has true and false. You know, floating point has an infinite number of values, and integer has an infinite number of values, but none type has one value, none. None is a constant. Capital none is a constant. The difference is we can check to see if we have stored none.
That was a mistake I made earlier.
None is often used to indicate emptiness, not non-existence, because smallest doesn't exist until we assign it, but we're going to assign it to like a mark, a flag, a marker, some way to say, oh, this is not even a number, it's nothing. And so we're going to, and you can do this. So that's like makes a variable called smallest, and in it puts none. It sticks it right in. It's not a string none, it's like a special type. Okay? So that actually captures the notion that before the loop starts, the smallest number that we've seen so far is none. We haven't seen any numbers. Okay? So then we come in and we have an if statement. And we have a new operator called is. Is stronger than equal sign. And so if smallest is none, that becomes true. It runs this case. And so then what it does is it copies this first value, which is 9, into smallest. And so we see a 9, and the smallest so far is 9, which is the first value. And again, we're assuming we don't know what the first value is before the loop starts, so we use the first iteration through the loop as the moment where we capture that. Okay? So smallest is the value, and then we print it, and we go back up, and now it runs again with 41. 41 is not none. None is, there's only one thing that's none, so it is not equal to none. Smallest is not equal to none, or is not none. So this is false, so it skips over here. Then it asks the question, is the value we're looking at, 41, less than smallest? Well, smallest is 9 in this case, and this is 41, so that's false, so it skips that and goes on. So we see 41, we don't take it, and then you can see that this will never become true again. This is pretty much false for the rest of the iterations of the loop. It's false for the rest of the iterations for the loop. So it just is going to run down here and ask this question. And at some point we see a 3, and we run this code, we capture it. We see 74, we don't capture it. We see 15, we don't capture it. So then the for loop skips out. At the end, we have the smallest. And actually, this would be a good technique for the largest as well, because it really is just a technique to put a marker in this variable so that we snag that first number or first whatever as we read and parse through them. So the is and is not operators are very useful in Python. You can think of them as like the double equal sign. They're asking a question, and they're asking a question, and they return a true or, blank is blank, returns a true or a false. It is stronger. Double equal says, are these things equal in type and value? So just as an example, if I were to say, is 0 equal to 0.0, it would say, yeah, that's true. But then if I says 0 is 0.0, that would be false. So that's because these two are the same value-wise, and these two are not the same type-wise. So is stronger than equals, meaning that it demands equality in both the type of the variable and the value of the variable, and no conversion is done. And so that's just a very strong. Don't overuse is. If you're dealing with numbers or even strings, use double equals. Don't use is, because sometimes it gets a little confusing. So use is sparingly. I tend to only use is on Booleans and on none types. I don't use is on integers, and I don't use use is on floats, and I don't use is on strings. So just none or true false. And also is not is also an operator. So you just say blah, blah, blah is not none, or blah, blah, blah is not false. Okay, so we've been looping around and doing loops and loops of loops. We looked at the indefinite loops, the while loops that kind of run for a while. The definite loop, and we looked at break and continue as a way to either escape completely from the loop or go back up and discard the current iteration of the loop. We looked at none. We looked at Boolean variables with for loops, definite loops, where you've got some kind of a set or a list or some kind of sequence that you're looping through. And then the concept of loop idioms, where you do something at the top, something to each item, and then you sort of get a benefit at the bottom. And so that gets us through iterations.
All right. Which of these evaluates to false? It's the first one. I think that's a guess. It's either the first one or the last one. Last one? Ooh. Oh, duh. He just said it. If you're using this, don't use it for is. All right, I had a mental breakdown there. But we're good. We rebound. But we're not going to move from this channel because they have an exercise here. So let's check out the exercise. Maybe we can get one more good program in. What time is it? 12. Prepare myself mentally for Monday. Oh my God. It's not even, it just became Sunday. But yeah, while we wait for that to load
Hello,
up,
and welcome to Python for Everybody.
that took a lot less time than expected. All right, so that's loaded. boy icon is still streaming, but definitely had how long is this? This is an 8-minute video, so we can knock it out. And then we'll go make some chicken nuggets, because we deserve it. You deserve it. All right, let's hear it out.
I'm doing a worked example. My name is Charles Severance, and I'm the instructor for the class. And the worked example that we're going to work on right now is in Chapter 5, and it is Exercise 1. We're going to repeat asking for a number until the word done is entered, and then we're going to print the total, and then we're going to print the count, and then we're going to print the average at the end, and we're going to enter some numbers, and then we've got to do some error checking. And we're going to keep on going, so we'll ignore this. We'll just say invalid input, and then we're going to ignore it. So I'm going to start from scratch. I'm going to write I'll start my terminal, start some Atom, and so I've opened the PY4E folder, and that's kind of cool because now I can do things like say new folder and say I'd like an exercise 0501, and then go into exercise 0501 and say file, new file.
All right,
and then say file
save
save as, and put it in exercise 0501, and then name the file EX.
If I forgot how to do this already, so let's just go ahead and set it up real quick. Danny will be pissed. All right, clear. All right, oh wait, it's already been set up, so we're already there. So let's just make a new file. Let's make a new file real quick. We're gonna hit Control S on that bit, and we're gonna call this what we gonna call this baby? What we gonna call this baby? Let's call it loop.py. Okay. Let's make sure it works. So let's go print oh wait, I can't see that. My bad. I'm like hungry, so my brain, I can feel my brain slowing down. Print what up, blood? Control S. We're gonna hit here. We're gonna hit them with the Python 3 loop.py. All right, cool. So we know we're in the right place. All right, clear. So we're gonna start from here. Let's go back.
X0501.py. I'm going to start from scratch on this one instead of adapting another piece of code. I'll say print 5. And I'm going to do this because now I need to get to the point where I'm in the same folder in this terminal window. CD desktop, Py4E, EX. I can string these together. And there I am. I'm going to say Python 3.
This does put a smile on my face.
And there I go. Okay? So I'm in good shape. So there's a couple things right now, and we're going to do the total, count, and average. And so this is just a basic pattern where we're going to have, we're going to need a iteration variable for the count. I'll call that num. We start that at 0. And then tot, and I'll start that at 0.0. So that's the running count and the running total. Now we need to write a loop. And I'm going to write this as an infinite loop, while true, with colon, and then I'll indent. And I'll prompt for a string. And remember, input gives us a string, so I'm going to call this sval equals input enter a number, colon, space. I'm going to deal with the try and accept later, but you can just kind of know that the floating point value that we're going to do is sometimes this little bit of code will fail. I'm just going to take the string value here, sval. This input returns us a string, and now I'm going to convert that to a float. I'm going to say print fval, so I can print that out. And then I'm going to do the num equals num plus 1, and tot equals tot plus
Get
fval.
fucked. Fuck them Packers.
Now,
It does put a smile on my face.
I do need to deal with the situation where I'm entering the word done. Now, we want to check that before we convert it to a float, because done, well, we can run this. It's an infinite loop, but it'll only run a little bit. It won't cause us too much problem. If I run Python, let me drag this over here.
You find out the Packers lose.
And I go 1, 2, 3. And if I put in something bad, it's running. I don't have a way to get out. But you can see that it blew up on line 5. It blew up right here on line 5. So what we want to do is we want it to say, 1, 2, 3, done. But we want it to detect that we've typed in done. So here we'll just say if the string value that I got back from input is double equal, quote, done, quote.
Hey, what up, Nexus? What's good? Clap it up for
So
that.
that
We
basically
got somebody
will
in the
break us
building
out.
with us. Clap it up. I'll
And
be
now-
learning. You deserve a bomb.
Print all done.
There you go.
I should be using single quotes here. Too much
How's
Java
your night
coding.
going?
Print all done. Then I'm going to say print.
Thanks for joining the stream.
Print
You feel me?
the total,
Joining
the
the
num,
stream while
and
we
then
learning.
tot, comma num, comma tot over num. Now we've got to be careful because we don't want to divide by 0, but that'll get us sort of a ways.
How
So
far
this is
are
going to
you
run,
into
it's going to
your
read
coding
these things,
journey?
it's going to accumulate here. This is the accumulator pattern.
yet
This
to
is a
meet
counter
anyone newer than
pattern
me.
where we're adding 1 to a current variable, and accumulator pattern where we're adding a value to it. So now we should be able
Oh
to see the
man!
done.
So you know my pain.
4,
How far are you into your
5,
journey?
and 6, and then done. And the total of 4 plus 5 plus 6 is 15. The number is 3, and the average is 5. And so that's really good. The all done prints out. I just did that for yucks, and you can see the value that's coming out. So that's in pretty good shape. So I'm going to comment this out and comment that out. So this is pretty good. It works just the way we want it to work. 4, 5, 6. But if we do something other than we're done, then we're going to blow up in this float. And so this is where we're going to have to do a try and accept, because we just know that this line, line 7 is the danger zone. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to put a try in here, and then we're going to indent the part of code that seems strange, and then we're going to have some accept code. And the first thing we have to do in the accept code is print out the word invalid input.
Welcome,
Come back.
Twisted Echo. Welcome to the
Print
club of strangers
invalid
all
input.
trying to learn Python.
Now, just
We are
like in
all
an
in here
earlier
trying to learn
example,
Python.
we have
It's,
to do something here to make sure it doesn't just keep on going. Because
I'm only 4
fval
weeks
doesn't
in,
work.
so
We're not going to see the error message that
forgive
would be
me
the
for being a
traceback here on
noob
line
and
9.
like
we're going to run
watching
here, but we still
lessons.
don't want to add because fval will be. So this is where we can use the continue.
But my name's Heero.
So in this code, we're using both
This
the
is
break
my comic book
to say
page
if I'm
that
all
is
done break,
converted into a coding
and if I have a
page.
problem, I'll print a message out, and then I'll say continue.
And
So the continue basically says go back up to the top.
I have
so
no
that
formal
is
training.
How, when we see enter some bad data, we print an invalid input, and without adding anything new, you
I
don't
have
really
no
see
formal
it
training
here.
in
Without adding anything new,
computer
you go back
science
up to the
or
top and
anything like
enter a
that.
second
I'm
thing.
just
So now
I'm as good as a
if
normal streamer would
everything
be. I
is
can
right,
make lights. I can
I should be able
I
to
can set up
type
a stream. So
bad input.
I feel like that's my
4, 5, 6.
my entry.
Bad input, done.
But doing this for
And
the last
I
4
have
weeks
a
and
total of 15.
the coding
Three
community
items,
on
and the
Twitch is
average
pretty
is
cool.
5.0.
A lot
So,
of cool people come in here
there
and
we
help
go.
me out. Like
That's
my setup
what
right
we're going
now
to get,
for it.
and that roughly achieves
If I just pull
this
this
same
out of
thing.
the
And
way
it's a
real quick,
combination
like
of
my Ubuntu and my Visual Studio was
a
all
loop
set up by people I
with
met on
a
Twitch.
exit
So
mechanism.
if you're
We
learning,
have some
I
sanity
definitely
checking of
recommend
our
Twitch, a
input,
great
some
source.
making
I
sure
have,
that we have some valid input, and we
I've met
catch
a
it,
lot of cool
and we use
people who've
continue to
helped me
loop
out.
back up to run the
Even
next iteration
this
of the
course
loop.
I'm watching now
And we
for
have
free.
an accumulator pattern,
I
and
got
then we
that from
can
somebody
use
on
the
here.
accumulated
Bought some
data
books.
to print what we want
Consistency
to print.
is the number one thing.
So,
110%.
I hope that this has been useful to you. Exercise 5.1
110%.
for Python for everybody.
But I would definitely say, you know, if you're trying to learn, I think it's easier to learn when you have people with you. So if you're starting that journey, I'd be more than happy to join you. Hit the follow. You always know when I'm streaming. I always label my streams accordingly. So people know like where I'm at and what I'm doing. Cause sometimes I do be drawing on here, and and I'll be like, oh, I didn't come here to see you draw. I don't want to be that guy.
Hello and welcome to Python for everybody.
Okay, cool. So we got this here. So, and I'm only 4 lessons in, so I'm in the loops and iteration, which is mind-numbing to me because that's how I learned how to do the countdown. But I am using a super slick version of Ubuntu with Visual Studio. But like I said, we can always learn together. The more the merrier. How far are you guys on in your journey? Twisted Echo and Nexus, how far are you guys? Because I'm always interested to see, like, because like I said, I've yet to meet anyone newer than me, which is hilarious. Because like people will be saying shit to me, and I'll be like, I have no idea what that means. They're like, what? But once again, I have no formal training. But by the end of this, I'm gonna be a pro. Watch it. Mark my words. I'll be the best at this damn thing. Because it's sort of like editing to me. I taught myself how to edit. Alright. So what we want to do is we're making a true false. So we need to make a true false statement. Not true false. We need a if. We need a while. We need a try and an except. Alright. Seems easy enough. Let's hit it. Let's get some background sound, baby. Let's jam. Oh, we got epic music. Oh my goodness. It's too much. Yeah. Let's turn it down a notch, okay? I'm taking a Udemy video thing, 100 days to code, and I'm on like day 18, but I got a full-time job and a kid, so I only have so much time to do it, unfortunately. I feel you on that. It's definitely like something you have to be dedicated to, like family, kids, job. They all trump everything, so ain't no need to apologize. Responsibility doesn't make you weak. Keep grinding at it, and like I said, I know your pain too. I don't have a kid. At least I don't have a kid that's found me yet. Hey yo, clap it. They ain't found me yet. I'm better at hide and go seek than they ever will be.
Oh yeah!
Completely unnecessary. But no, seriously, keep grinding on it. I know it was a bad joke, guys. I know it was a bad joke. I'm practicing some competitive problems right now. Still not advanced in Python. I am with you, man, to the moon. Hey, absolutely. Stick with it. Grind on it. And like, if you guys have any tips or any things you guys are doing, like, because I started off with CSS and HTML, I got really far into those programs and realized that, that's good for like web design and front end development, but I still haven't learned to talk to computers. So I was like, how do I do that? Like, how do I get better? Like, I want to know how I'm gonna like be able to get to the next level, because if you're learning language, like learning something that's not really gonna help you do what you want to do, then you're basically like,
Fuck your life!
so you gotta learn. You gotta like present. And Python is the most universally used, especially Python 3 right now. So like I said, let's dive into that. But stick with it. U Academy, I remember like the Udemy course. I don't know, the Udemy course didn't really vibe to me. I said I didn't want to do the Udemy class first. I learned HTML and CSS on Free Code Academy, so I was like, let me learn Python on there. But I feel like I would go to Udemy to get more practice problems. Udemy with practice problems, I feel are very challenging. Like Udemy's practice problems caught me completely off guard. Ooh, hack the box. Okay. So what language are you learning then? What language are you learning, Twisted? That's awesome. Hacking events. See, like I wouldn't even think about that. I'm sort of thinking about like stuff on a very small scale. Like, like, okay, I can do this with this and that with that. I mean, it's definitely hard to like. The Rome wasn't built in one day. You already know that. But we keep persevering. So for here, we know that they needed the num. So let's make our variables, right? So num 0, and then our total, what we'll call totes, equals 0.0. I learned that the is statement shouldn't be used when you're comparing stuff if they're not of equal value. So that was what was wrong with my code last time. I was literally stuck here for like an hour. But we can start with the while statement. So while but I think I'm once I get done with the basics of Python, I'm gonna start my first like miniature project. I think I'm gonna go with the very basics, make a calculator, make a calendar that tells you the date and time or stuff like that. Then like start using, then add to it, teach my calculator to do multiplication. No, not multiplication, to do algebra or plot points on a graph, and then teach my calendar to pull information from the internet, like what's the weather going to be like, what's traffic patterns going to be like, stuff like that. I think I'll start progressing that direction, but very simple. Like ultimately, tell me if you think this would be a good idea. So like, this is the project I really want to start. So the project I want to start, this is so selfish and so annoying. So I have a FOMO, a fear of not like being a part of something, and the fear is that I might die without ever hearing every song that I like. It's something that like really puts my blood pressure up. So I want to build an algorithm that will, and I have 10,000 songs on my iPod right now, I want to build an algorithm that I'll listen to all 10,000 of my songs and use the beats per minute, the tone, the bass level, the words per song, and calculate all that up and find, like, using those data points to then scour every music library readily available to me to send me 7 songs a day that the algorithm thinks I will like that I built. And everyone's like, well, you're just gonna get 70,000 songs of a remix. And I was like, ha ha ha, very funny. I've thought of this thoroughly. If there are more than 4 words in the title that all link together, it shouldn't send it to me. It's just that simple. If you see the song has the same words or even the same lyrics, don't send that shit to me, okay? But I want to do that. And when I start building that, the level of happiness that'll bring me. You feel me?
I was born in it.
I'm a monster.
Molded by
I
it.
truly am a monster. Okay. So now I need something that like another input. So I need like a value. So like a S value probably. S value equals, let's get some space here, please. Input enter a number. But yeah, that's my goal. That's my plan. What cool projects would you want? And next is what cool projects are you gonna make? Are you willing to share this information with me? Knowing full well that I will bother you nonstop about it because I want to know if I can do it too. Alright, and for this one, I'm gonna have to go back and re-listen to what he said because okay, no, so we're using done. We're using done. Oh shit. So we're using done. But there's no number, so I guess this is equal. So it doesn't S value until they enter S done, the word done. Okay, this makes sense to me now. Unless they enter the word done, then it'll reject it. I believe that's what it's telling me. But then the code breaks. It will break if nothing happens. So let's go with the try statement. Happy birthday to everybody out there. Clap it up.
Fuck your life!
And now we need like a float, because we can use 0.1, so we need a float value for that. Okay, so that value, so float value. Yo, thanks for following Twisted Echo. I didn't hear. Okay, I didn't know if my alerts were on, but thanks for that. I appreciate it. Hopefully you join up on the journey with me. We can both help each other get better. I have a Discord, but I'm gonna make because right now the Discord is really designed for like the comic book and like it's my gaming chat whenever I'm playing Call of Duty with my friends. But ultimately the goal will be to one day then get a Discord chat, like a segment of it to be dedicated to coding, because I think that'd be cool. We can all come in there, test each other's float and we want to say S value. S value. Give me some color, please. Thank you. It's really fighting with me. Okay, S value. I'm spelling shit wrong. It's U. S value. But, so are you like studying right now? Are you studying right now, Twisted Echo? Like while the kids sleep, the wife's down, trying to get that work in. Except my phone's battery. My phone's about to die. And thank you guys so much for joining my stream, because I was like at 2.8 to be affiliated. And I honestly think like you guys might have pushed me over the edge, so I appreciate that. You know, you guys are y'all pretty cool. Y'all pretty cool.
Bing bang.
Holy shit, Nexus, you're on a fucking another level. How long have you been doing this, Nexus? Blockchain, API? I learned a lot about APIs recently too. Okay, so Nexus, you're like a beast. You're not 4 weeks of learning. You're not me. I hope I've motivated, and to you, Twisted Echo, I hope I've motivated you to go back. Like I always said it, like even if I can't stream that I'm coding, I will always set aside 1 hour a day to code. And so far, I've been streaming for about 2 hours and some change. But like, it's that's the hardest part, just setting aside a time to do it. All right, so we want to print invalid. Fuck it. Wrong, bitch. Try again. Gotta make it your own. Don't be so mundane. With num. Yeah, you're learning, but you already have a foundation. That's what I'm talking about. Like, hey, ain't no look.
It doesn't matter who we are. What matters is our plan.
I want you to know something. Don't be out here downplaying yourself. You have a gift, you have a talent, you have a skill. When somebody's bragging on you, you be like, goddamn right. No, I'm just playing. But no, you have a foundation, and I guess that's what I'm more alluding to. Like you know what things do what things, and you're trying to learn how to perfect those skill sets. So that's awesome and admirable. Equals num. I'm trying to switch careers. LOL. I already make too much in my current one, so I have to know a lot in order to switch. Oh shit. A baller with no budget. I'm pretty much switching up so I can work from home. I work in a hospital now, and I got my ass handed to me. I got my ass handed to me in the pandemic for the last 2 years, and there's people just at home. I want to be people. I want to be me. I want to be people. You feel me? I want to be people. I appreciate that. Oh, Codosaurus and Leech, thanks. Thanks for the follow. Hey, more people are joining. Yeah, I love to see it. I love to see it. Thank you guys for coming.
Oh yeah!
We're gonna need you. Goddamn right, Bane. Alright, then let me go print. Tote. Ooh, and then we can do some math. Totes divided by num. All right, let's hit Control S and let's give this a good old college try. I feel like something's wrong in line 5, but we'll find out here shortly. Python 3 loop.py. If you don't mind me asking, a Twisted Echo, what do you do right now? As this code completely destroys my computer. Yep. How did I know it was line 5? How did I know it was going to be line 5? Nexus, is your picture a pic? No, I thought that was the picture of do you know who Kaido the Kid is? I don't believe I'm saying that name right. Is that what I'm missing? Hold on, is that what I'm missing though? I knew it was line 5. Yeah, you're right. I am missing that. Alright. So hit Control S and now let's give it a good old college try. You're right. Fuck! No, same one. Line 7. Line 7 is my try statement. Loop py try. Is it because it's in the wrong block? Include the try inside of the of if statement. Oh, like indent it as well. Not like that. Not like that. No way. All right, I'll give it a good old college try. I don't think you mean like that because but we'll give it a good old college try. Control S. Oh, it went to number 8, so it might be right. Okay. If S value equals done, try. Oh, you try to put it in the chat. Nah. And that's why I need to make my Discord. That's why I need to make the Discord chat so we can properly have these conversations. I'll figure it out here. Hold on. Let's try this version of it first. Now something's wrong with number 9. Oh, and except I guess has to also be in there. Which means this needs to be in there. All right. I know. Okay, wait. I do have a Discord, so hold on. We can do this. Let me open up the Discord. You can just put it in the live chat. We can just put it in the live chat. Back to the front. Whoops. All right. We'll try this one. Let me get the Discord open. Oh shit, my phone vibrated. Scared the hell out of me. Poor little heart. Yeah, I brought that back just in time. Yeah, I got a link for it. Guys. Okay. All right, Discord link. And then you can put it in the live chat. All right, let's give this one a try. Control S. One more again. Yeah! Enter a number. There we go. No, I'm just practicing, like, so I'm learning how to do loops in iterations. So like now we're at the point where you give it a number, you enter a number, and you keep going, and it'll keep telling you like its iteration. So like I'll enter a number now, 5. Enter a number 6, 55. Oh shit. 544. And then 644, and it'll say 2. I don't know how long it'll let me go. And then when you finally say done, I think the message is so perfect because I knew I would fuck up. It's so funny because I knew I'd fuck up eventually. And it would treat my ass. So there you go. Alright. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Okay, then let me go back and listen to the intro because the guy, I felt like he made it very clear. Like, if something was supposed to happen, so when the number, okay, I'm clearly missing a phrase. So let's go back and figure out what that phrase is. That's hilarious, though. That was hilarious. Clip that for later. Okay, let's go back and figure out what the hell we're actually trying to do. We can listen to it. Hold on, from the beginning.
My name is Charles Severance, and I'm the instructor for the class. And the worked example that we're going to work on right now is in Chapter 5, and it is Exercise 1. We're going to repeat asking for a number until the word done is entered, and then we're going to print the total, and then we're going to print the count, and then we're going to print the average at the end, and we're going to enter some numbers, and then we've got to do some error checking. And we're going to keep on going, so we'll ignore this. We'll just say invalid input, and then we're going to ignore it. So I'm going to start from scratch. I'm going to write a, I'll start my terminal, start some Atom, and so I've opened the PY4E folder, and that's kind of cool because now I can do things like say new folder and say I'd like an exercise 0501, and then go into exercise 0501 and say file, new file, and then say file, save as, and put it in exercise 0501, and then name the file ex0501.py. I'm going to start from scratch on this one instead of adapting another piece of code. I'll say print 5. And I'm going to do this because now I need to get to the point where I'm in the same folder in this terminal window. CD desktop, Pi4E, EX. I can string these together. And there I am, and I say Python 3, EX, and there I go. Okay, so I'm in good shape. So there's a couple things right now, and we're going to do the total, count, and average. And so this is just a basic pattern where we're going to have, we're going to need a iteration variable for the count. I'll call that num. We start that at 0, and then tot. And I'll start that at 0.0. So that's the running count and the running total. Now we need to write a loop. And I'm going to write this as an infinite loop, while true, with colon, and then I'll indent. And I'll prompt for a string. And remember, input gives us a string. So I'm going to call this sval equals input.
I'll definitely
enter a number, colon, space.
Side charm.
I'm going to deal with the try and accept later.
Does anyone know how to like?
You can just kind of know that the floating point value that we're going to do is sometimes this little bit of code
stop it because that's
will fail. I'm just going to take the string value here, sval. This input returns us a string, and now I'm going to convert that to a float. I'm going to say print fval, so I can print that out. And then I'm going to do the num equals num plus 1, and tot equals tot plus
I don't know what I would
f
have to enter
val.
to get this to stop. I'm literally being held prisoner
Now,
by my fucking code.
I do need to deal with the situation where I'm entering the word done. Now, we want to check that before we convert it to a float, because done, well, we can run this. It's an infinite loop, but it'll only run a little bit. It won't cause us too much problem. If I run Python, let me drag this over here, and I go 1, 2, 3, and if I put in something bad, it's running. I don't have a way to get out. But you can see that, you know, it blew up on line 5. It blew up right here on line 5. So what we want to do is we want it to say, you know, 1, 2, 3, done. But we want it to detect that we've typed in done. So here we'll just say if the string value that I got back from input is double equal, quote, done, quote, break. So that basically will break us out. And now,
I'm missing a way to get me out.
Print all done. I should be using single quotes here. Too much Java coding. Print all done. Then I'm going to say print. What do I want to print? The total, the num, and then tote, comma num, comma tote over num. Now we've got to be careful because we don't want to divide by 0, but that'll get us sort of a ways. So this is going to run, it's going to read these things, it's going to accumulate here. This is the accumulator pattern. This is a counter pattern where we're adding 1 to a current variable, and accumulator pattern where we're adding...
Mistakes have been made. Okay. Okay, mistakes have been made. I never put in a code so that I could break this. So I'm like stuck in an infinite loop. I never put a way for me to get out. Shit. Or am I, like, I don't know what to do. I honestly don't know what to do. Like, how would I stop my code? LS with that? No.
And done.
Shit.
And the total of 4 plus 5 plus 6 is 15. The number is 3 and the average is 5. And so that's really good. The all done prints out. I just did that for yucks. And
I'm really being hooked. Control plus C. Oh, cool. What's going on? Thanks for that, Nexus. I appreciate it. You did you see the panic on my face? Oh. Stream went down. Stream went down for 30 seconds. What's going on? Oh, we're back. We're good. We're good. We're good. Thanks for that, Nexus. I appreciate it because I was flabbergasted. All right. So let's go here real quick. So let's repair the code. I hate when I have to copy it, but this is also probably me just being very tired too. Because I was missing hella code from his shit. So he has a print with an all done statement. Okay. Yeah, IDE. He doesn't have a try statement in here. Oh, there it is. All right, let's give it a whirl. Oh. So it should let me enter in numbers, and then when I want to stop, I still don't understand that part. Hold on, let me listen to this shit. And of course, it's broken. So this isn't right as itself because there's an issue with line 7 again, which is because it's a try statement, so it needs to be lined up with it. All right. So let me just go back to the beginning real quick. In here, exercise 1: write a program which repeatedly reads numbers until the user enters done. Once done is entered, print out the total count and average of numbers. If the user enters anything other than a number, detected their mistake using try if. Okay, so yeah, it's just running through multiple things. So let's run this then. So I think we fixed this for the most part. Oh, no, but I am a diehard fan. Our brother, my brother, he's an agent. He's an agent for the NFL. So he used to be an assistant coach and head of recruiting for Georgia and a lot of the SEC teams. So he became an agent last year, and he just signed his first player. And his first player that he signed was number 99, Big Jordan Davis. You hear me? So I got a lot of free Georgia shit around here. That game was a little bit too intense for my blood pressure, but I'm happy to see the Dogs be on top. Syntax error line 9. Should my accept statement not be there? I don't know. My accept statement should be closer. Oops. Oh yes, they're actually leaving. They went to the Green Bay game, but they got disappointed. I think Green Bay was trying to pick them up, and your boy Karen Rodgers out here throwing 0 touchdowns during a playoff game. A playoff game? You threw 0 touchdowns? I could do that, Aaron Rodgers. I could do that.
Apology accepted.
Aaron Rodgers.
Beta! Beta!
Oh man, that's hilarious. I could have played for 16 million. I could have ran around a football field and done absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. But yeah, man. Devontae, number 95, Jordan, a few other players. You got some players from Alabama too, and a kid from Michigan. So he's got a nice little roster. You know, my brother got a good little roster. I might go train with them. I might go out and see what they training like. um, get myself okay. It works. It works. Gotta go get some training in with them. No, it wouldn't hurt. You know it wouldn't hurt. All right, where are we? All right, so we can enter multiple numbers. Okay. Whoops. Oh, that's cool. Oh, that's great. And anything other than that? All right, we'll be done now. That's adorable. Done. So in total, we got total numbers, the smallest number, and then it divided by itself. Okay, cool. So we know it works. We know it works. We did it. That's awesome. It worked. It was sloppy, but it worked. I think we leave on a high note, guys. I don't know. What do you think? Twisted. Twisted Echo, what you doing, man? Let's see. You said you're live. Let me return the favor for the follow. That's the least I could do. What type of projects are you into, though? Like, think of the most inconvenient thing in your life, or not the most inconvenient, the most unabashedly simplistic thing. Like, especially if I can't think of a project, I have no problem stealing other people's projects. Like, make a Tinder app or some shit. Like, make a fantasy league football roster list. Something. Yeah, and I think like that's like your calling card, my guy, to push it to the next level. Like go out there and do it, right? Like just think of something you want to see done. Or you could like that's why I kind of asked like what do you do for work, but I didn't want to be too intrusive. I didn't want to be that guy. Didn't want to be that guy. Back it down. But yeah, I think we're gonna wrap on the code. We having discussion moments right now. Definitely want to say thank you. You know what? Twisted, dare I say, I believe Twisted Echo is our the strange gang leader. The strange gang leader is a very unique person, very special person, in fact. Dare I say the most strange person in the chat because they're the most engaging. And whenever we have someone who's super engaged in the conversation, we acknowledge that. So, congratulations. Until you are dethroned, you'll be the strange gang leader. Clap it up. Drop a bomb for that. I'm always happy to have new strange gang leaders. You feel me? Hey, we're all a little strange, but that's what makes us interesting. You feel me?
Hey, bing bang!
It doesn't matter who we are. What matters is our plan.
If you were normal, I wouldn't want to talk to you. Just keeping it 100. You hear me?
Oh yeah!
But we'll be back on tomorrow. My date was canceled tonight, so that's the reason why I'm here. Don't worry, I didn't get like a no call, no show or nothing like that. I know this girl has a very hectic work schedule. You know, I was trying to be the good guy. We'll see each other another time. She's been texting me the whole stream because I told her I was going to talk shit about her on the stream. So she's one of the 3 people watching. As always, so right now I have Twisted watching. I got the girl I was supposed to be on a date with, and my mom is always lurking. She doesn't know how Twitch works, but I taught her how to, at least when the notification pops on, she can see me. So everybody say hi. Hi, Mama Heero. Because she's in charge. You feel me?
Would you like to answer a question right at this particular time? Would you like to do that?
Yeah, so a lot of people ask me, like, when do I normally stream? I wish I had a solid schedule. Being a person who works in healthcare, I can't really dictate when people want to die. So I'm just always available for work. But my goal is to always be able to live stream for 1 hour every day. It just be like that. Just my goal every day, 1 hour. Probably around the evening time, probably 8 or 9 every day, and it'll be coding, or just read the title because I don't want you guys to pop up for stuff that you're not really into. Do it. Do it. If you have the capability to do it, just do it. Because what I've come to find out, every stream isn't gonna be perfect for me, and I'm okay with that. But I can get better, and that's what that streaming does for me. It just lets me get better. So I remember when I first started this channel, I used to stream like in 30 days. I was streaming for 8 hours. And now I'm up to like 52 hours a week. And it's just like repetition. You just keep going. You just keep going. Keep practicing. And every chance you get to be on there is you testing yourself or you perfecting something. Like my Stream Deck, I only had 2 sound effects on there, and that made me a
Beta!
But now I'm rolling in sound effects. You feel me? I got Bane on here. I got Savage. I got King Heart on here. I got Bombs. I got. I'm the man now. I'm the man now. And like I used to be really upset because my stream was super laggy. The tech crew helped me fix that. They were like people from the stream literally helped me fix my lagginess, fix my encoder. So now like my stream is like low latency so people can see me and I can respond to their shit appropriately. So I appreciate that, but do it, man. Just do it. Like, life is hard. And if it's anything in this miserable world right now bringing you joy, please do that shit. As long as it doesn't hurt anybody. You deserve to be happy. And you have to be willing to fight anyone who's willing to take that shit from you. Right? Go be happy.
Damn.
Some profound shit. But we gonna wrap it up because safe sex is great sex. So I appreciate you guys being here with me tonight. Appreciate all the help that I got from everybody. Let's send some shout outs for sure. Twisted came through. I Little Random, you came through. Kellen Star, you came through. Who else came through? And Leech. So we have 4 people follow the channel, and throughout the night we've at least been at round 3. I had 2.8. If I'm at least a 5 today, if I average like a 4 or something, I feel like that's enough to push me over. And the next time we're here, we'll be affiliated. And as I said, the money, anything that's donated to this channel or any money that I get from this channel will be put towards building a proper PC, my first PC, and obviously I'll live stream that as well. So more content, more opportunities, and my goal is to build a decent PC because I do a lot of rendering and a lot of editing, so I need a decent PC. And also I'll donate a portion of whatever I get to the place that's teaching me how to code. So Free Code Camp, they have a donation site because hey, that shit's important. So I'm gonna be a man of my word. But I appreciate you guys kicking it with me. I appreciate you guys handing down. Like, share, and subscribe. Y'all already knew routine. Y'all already know what it is. I love your faces. Don't be a stranger. Come back around, okay? Y'all get some rest. It's important. We got shit to learn tomorrow. So get your rest. Peace.